Good evening and welcome to the first ever CPM Live Showcase event. We're a couple of minutes late this evening. I do apologise for that. We had one or two technical difficulties. I think because this is the first time that we've done this. It's meant one or two things, cross wires, but we're up and we're going now. So hopefully you are now joining me here for what is going to be an exciting next 20 minutes or so. I've got 5 different products from this year. Well, 4 from this year and 1 that's a secret one, which won't be launched till tomorrow, and you're going to have an opportunity on tonight at a lower price than anyone else will be able to get this for tomorrow. 4 products from 4 of the big anniversaries from this year. And one of them's yet to come, 3 have been. You definitely want to get your hands on 1, if not more of these. And no one else has the opportunity to. Only you do, because you've taken the time to join me here. So I'm grateful for that. I want to tell you that at any point during this evening, you can dial the number that's on screen, 0800 781 5015. At any point this evening, you can dial that number. Our numismatic experts are waiting to take your call, and you can secure any of these, even before I've started talking about them, if you want to. And I would suggest this evening that you act very quickly. And the reason I suggest that is because some of these we literally have 1 of, all of them we have very few of. And when I get to the secret product, because of that price, you are going to want to act quick on that one as well. I'm going to get to that one third. Just want to whet your appetite a little bit there. Let's start with this one though. This is the solid silver £5 set for Sir Winston Churchill. Now this year sees 150 years since the birth of Churchill. Actually November the 30th, so just in a few weeks' time, will be marking 150 years since his birth. And if you don't know why that's important, well, where have you been? Churchill, frankly, is almost to a fault top of any poll that asks for the most important, most significant, most famous Britons of all time. He took us through the Second World War. He drove us when maybe another leader may have failed. He took a lot of courage, a lot of determination, and he won the day. That's incredible. And then if you think about our beloved Queen Elizabeth II, who we still miss to this day, he was her first Prime Minister, and we know helped her a lot during the start of her reign. So what I want to do is show you these 3 £5 coins, all in solid silver. Now the designs are great. They really show a broad spectrum of Churchill's life. You've got Churchill outside 10 Downing Street, where of course he spent most of his time when he wasn't in the war rooms, which is the second coin in this set. And the war rooms would have been spent for 4 or 5 years going over lots of different strategies, leading up of course to D-Day and VE Day. And then the final one is at Chartwell House, where he had his R&R. He got away from it like everyone needs to do. I don't think he was there that much during the war, but in his latter years, when he came back again as Prime Minister later, I know he spent a lot of time there, met dignitaries. It's a great set of 3 coins for our most famous politician, our most famous leader, our most famous Briton ever. Now, there was only 750 of these sets ever minted. Now you're going to know, if you're a silver buyer, that's a very small edition limit. In fact, 2 of these coins you can only get in the set. One was available by itself, but 2 of them only in the set. So the only way to get them is to get the set. Now, if you act quickly tonight, dial that number on screen, 0800 781 5015. You can be one of very few to get hold of it. We're down to the last 30 at the time of going live. So if you're not already on the phone and you want this, you need to be. I'm going to tell you that we're going to answer all calls in the strict sequence they come in. So if you're on hold, wait. If you have to leave a voicemail, that's fine. We're going to call you back in the sequence that you have dialed in. So if you are fortunate enough to be amongst the first 30 who want this, you will get it. If you're not, I am sorry, I've got some other things to talk about, but maybe our numismatic specialist can help you out, maybe with something else that might be almost as good. So that is the Churchill £5 silver set. Chance to get it at just £29.50 a month for 10 months, and you get the whole set after your first instalment. Get on the phone now if you haven't already done so. Okay, maybe you're already on the phone. If you are, you can also order our next item. Now, our next item is the one before the secret launch. So if you're waiting for that, you've not missed it, don't worry, that's coming up after our next item. And it's this. This is the solid gold £50 coin in the shape of a 50p that was released for the Gold State Coach. Now, the Gold State Coach for the last nearly 200 years now has been used at every coronation. We saw it not too long ago at the King's coronation, of course. He didn't look that comfortable in there, did he? And I'm led to believe it's not a very comfortable ride. In fact, I'm told that the Queen herself used to have a hot water bottle in the carriage whenever she was in it, just to keep warm. It's obviously beautifully, looks beautiful, but it's not the height of elegance or comfort when you're inside of it. Now, this coin, I have never seen one for the Gold State Coach before, and it really is a true national treasure, that coach. Whenever it comes out, it does draw the eye, doesn't it? But I've also, I'm not sure I've ever seen a £50 coin in the shape of a 50p. We may have had the odd one, but they don't come along very often. What makes this really stand out is how many were made. 75. That's, again, for any coin, that's not a lot. But for a gold £50 do you have a £50 coin in your collection? If not, now's the moment. If you have a 50p shaped one, definitely the moment. And we have single figures of these left available. So it's definitely one to grab hold of. Again, dial that number on the screen, 0800 781 5015, so you don't miss out on the Gold State Coach £50. This is solid gold, by the way. So the price actually isn't quite incredible for the amount of gold you get, and one of only 75 people in the world. It's £199.50 a month for 10 months. And again, you'll get the coin straight out after your first instalment. So if you're still waiting, you need to get in the queue. You need to call our numismatic specialist on 0800 781 5015. And when I come back, I'm going to have that secret product which you are going to find out about before anyone else on the planet. Okay, here we go. This is the moment I've been waiting for. Now, I genuinely have been super excited. If I start raising my voice, I'm told it's what I do when I get a bit too excited. This is a sovereign, but it's no ordinary sovereign. This is this year's, or I should say next year's, standard sovereign from the Royal Mint. Now, they've never ever brought out their standard sovereign before the year starts. So the 2025 sovereign always would be brought out on the 1st or early in January 2025. Today, November the 4th, 2024, they released their standard sovereign. This is the first of its kind. And you have an opportunity to not just grab hold of one, but to get the most limited edition standard sovereign, in fact, the most limited edition sovereign that I know about from the Royal Mint. This is the date stamp version. And basically what that means is today, 995 sovereigns, and that's all that was ever sent away, was sent to the Royal Mail. They postmarked a first-class stamp today on the 4th of November. That has been put together in a tamper-proof capsule, sealed forever with the sovereign. Now that means that on its day of release, the first time ever a sovereign has been released before its year that it struck on it, and it's been sealed on the day of release. Only 995 of them. And you can prove that with the postmark that is in this tamper-proof capsule. What's beautiful about date stamp sovereigns, all of them actually, and actually they're incredibly popular when they are released, is that on the back, if you turn it over, there's a QR code. Now, if you scan that QR code, or get someone to help you do so if you're not quite sure what to do with those, you can allocate that sovereign, that date stamp sovereign, to anyone you want to. You put your own name, of course, if it's for you. You could put your child or grandchild's name, your parent's name, your brother, your sister, whoever you want. And then you seal it online, and whenever anyone has that in their possession, so you give it to them at Christmas or birthday or wedding or whatever, when they look it up online, that code, they will see that it's given to them and will be for them for always. That all date stamp sovereigns you can do. It's one of the reasons they're so popular. They're also really, really collectible because they're always very low edition limits. Today, the Royal Mint released their most collectible sovereign, and it had an edition limit of 2,025. It's set their second most was 5,000, but this one that includes their standard sovereign and is the date stamp version, 995 people in the world are going to be able to have it. You are the first person to see it. You're the first person to have an opportunity on it, and you're the only person who can have it less than when it launches tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Tomorrow at 9 o'clock, I fully expect this to go a little bit crazy. People are going to be running to get this for £1,050. Tonight, you can have it for 10 instalments of £99.50. £995, £55 less than everyone will pay for it tomorrow. You're already ahead of the curve. But you need to act tonight, because that price is only locked in for a very short window if you have signed up to be here with me this evening. So dial that number, 0800 781 5015. You've got to do it now. I'll be honest, we're going to be inundated with this. And if you wait till tomorrow, you're going to have to pay the full price. So I want you to get that before it goes. And with only 995, I am genuinely not sure how long it will be around for. We've already seen the Sovereign at the Royal Mint and other places disappear into other collectors' hands. Don't let that happen for you. You have first dibs, first go at the 2025 date stamp Sovereign, date stamp postmarked on its day of release, the 4th of November 2024. It's so unusual. It's the first of its kind. I think it might be the last of its kind, and any collector wants that in their collection. If you can afford it, make that phone call now. We're going to move on to another item in a minute, and now we're talking about items where we've only got one of, but in the meantime, get on the phone. We will call you back if you leave a voicemail. I'll see you in a couple of seconds. Okay, I hope you're already on the phone for any of the items I've talked about. The Churchill £5 set, the £50 in the shape of a 50p for the Gold State Coach, and of course that date stamp Sovereign. That is my highest recommendation, probably of this year. However, the next coin I want to talk about was brought out for the 200th anniversary of the Royal Muse. Now, if you don't know what the Royal Muse is, don't worry, I'll tell you very briefly. It's basically the stable block at Buckingham Palace, and it's where all the transport for the royal family has always been organised and kept. So we're talking horses and carriages going back, way back when, Victoria times, up to cars today, of course. And that's where the Gold State Coach is also housed. Now, a lovely place, and you can go visit it, but the royal family, of course, it's an area they'd love. The Queen herself, Princess Anne, and others who love horses would frequently visit there. And of course, that's where the cars are and the Gold State Coach, as I said. But this coin, I think, might be the most beautiful coin of the year. And if you like to look at your coins and you get them because of the impact it makes on you by its design, this is one to really think about. It's a solid gold masterpiece coin. It's a £5 coin in solid 24 karat gold, this one. And the design is based around the Gold State Coach and the Royal Muse building itself. You've even got the flower emblems of the UK in the centre, along with a wheel from the coach, the two tritons from the coach, which of course are there to show Britain's naval power. Lots of great touches. Even the roof of the Royal Muse building goes around the inside of this beautiful, beautiful coin. Now, I'm going to tell you how many there were or how many there wasn't. There was 50 in total worldwide. It's literally this one here that you will get. There's one left. And this one was on order for someone. Unfortunately, they had to cancel it for various reasons. I don't want you to miss out. We literally have one left. So get on the phone now if you want it. It's 0800 781 5015. Price-wise, for this amount of gold, this tiny edition limit, and for this stunningly beautiful, significant coin, it's £425 a month for 10 months, and you get it after the first instalment. It's a great price for what it is, and it's definitely worth your time making that call and securing it. Now, if you miss out, if other people get ahead of you, we might be able to help you out with other items, but you want to be first. So 0800 781 5015. Before we move on to our last product, I'm just going to check to see if anyone's asked me any questions in the comments. Let's have a quick check. Okay, so why should I collect the date stamp Sovereign over any other Sovereign? Good question. Now, usually I would say go for the Royal Mint's limited edition ones because they're the ones to go for, the best quality, etc., etc. Tonight, I'm going to say do go for those. Whatever you do, whether it's instead of or as well as, grab the date stamp 4th of November Sovereign. It's never happened before. It'll probably never happen again, where you get a 2025 Sovereign date stamped, sealed forever, 2 months before it was ever meant to be released. I think it's really unusual. I myself would definitely be tempted to grab hold of one, and you definitely should be. So if you're not already getting one, you definitely should. That's why I think this year, the date stamp in particular is one to go for. Someone's asked, what are the Royal Muse? I think I told you that. That was the stable block where they keep all the transport for the royal family. And what is the silver purity of the Winston Churchill set? That's a really good question. This is solid sterling silver. So what you're getting there is, if you've never bought precious metal before in a coin, this is not a great starting place. This is ahead of the game of other people who start with a lot less in terms of collectability. This is right up there. And we haven't even got to the anniversary yet. 30th of November is the anniversary, and then these will be definitely gone. And other items that we have had for Churchill will probably go then as well. You can get ahead of the game. Grab yours now before it's too late. Well, I've got one more item, very, very significant and poignant item that I want to talk about. So I'll be back in just a few seconds. Well, I'm glad you're still with me. Thanks for staying with me through this CPM Live Showcase, the first of its kind. We hope to do many of these, and we'll let you know when they come up in the future. I'm going to end this evening with maybe the most poignant and important set of coins. This year we saw the 80th anniversary of D-Day, and it was really quite emotional. I didn't get to go over to France myself, but I was looking on the news and the services of people marking 80 years since that fateful day. It was a day of great victory, but a day of great slaughter, when we lost many of our young servicemen on the beaches of Normandy and other areas of France, as we tried to take back Europe from the axis of evil. And of course we know we were successful. And if this day didn't happen, the biggest naval landing in history, one of the biggest battles in history, we probably wouldn't be here doing this like we're doing together this evening. That victory was incredible. And the three coins in this set, this is the D-Day 50p solid gold set, well, they're just so incredible for what it's for the 80th anniversary. You've got three different designs. You've got the Normandy landings with our young servicemen rushing up the beaches. You've got the naval barrage that all the ships were attacking the cliff tops, trying to give cover as the soldiers ran up the beach. And you've got the gliders, often forgotten sadly, but they did a massive work in taking paratroopers behind enemy lines to secure bridges and areas that were really important. If they hadn't held them, and some of them held them for a long time under severe pressure, if they hadn't, maybe D-Day would never have been successful. Three key elements to maybe the most important moment in British history, maybe even in military history, when the tide turned, when the Second World War turned completely around and the Allied forces were able to go in, and within a few short months, a year or so, we're able to have VE Day, and we won Europe back, and we're free because of it. This set is incredible. Three solid silver 50p's, and the 50p has become the collector's coin now. It's the one you want. Solid gold, and only 25 of these sets were ever minted. Again, I have one left. It is this set that you see in front of you. Like the Muse £5 masterpiece, both of these had orders against them, and unfortunately the collector who wanted them, two different collectors as it turns out, couldn't go ahead with the purchase for various reasons. They've never left this building, they are still brand new, and they can be yours. This one is just £599.50 a month, and that's for 10 months. You get the whole set after your first instalment. I'm going to say, if you're ever going to talk about D-Day and our history to the next generation, and of course what was so poignant about D-Day this year was it's probably the last time we'll have the veterans with us. I was quite emotional looking at the now much grown older men sitting in wheelchairs or standing with crutches who had been there 80 years ago as young men and came back because that was the moment for them, wasn't it, that defined their whole lives. And we thanked them, and that was great. But when we get to 85, and certainly when we get to 90, it's highly unlikely we'll have any veterans with us, which I think is why they made such a big deal of the 80th anniversary. It was such an incredible moment. Now, you want to be part of that, you want to talk to the next generation about it, you want to hand something down which has histocracy to it, as well as only 25 in the world, as well as solid gold and great design, this is the set for you. Now, if you're not already on the phone, you need to be. There's only one. So please do give us a call on 0800 781 5015 to secure that. We can get that straight out to you tomorrow upon payment of that first instalment. Look, you've seen some great products this evening with me. Thank you for your time. If you're not on the phone, why not? You really should be. Do join us next time. We'll definitely let you know when we're doing this again. In the meantime, thank you for your time this evening. I wish you well. Have a lovely evening. See you again soon.